welcome to the fourth and final game of the evening, Survive the Blackout, which is a narrative survival pixel art adventure game. And I've mentioned this elsewhere, but it also bills itself as a modern homage to the Oregon Trail. Like, to specifically quantify that statement, that is because the main sort of progression is just you walking down a path. Like, now there are no wagons involved, and as far as I played, nobody dies of cholera. Although there are many, many ways to die in this game. Maybe not in terms of variety, but it's basically comes down to humans are bastards. Like, that's the main threat. It's like other people. Like, you can still die of, say, like exhaustion, but it's like every other fucking step. It's going to be, oh boy, another encounter. Will they be friendly, or are they going to try to rob you of everything you have? Who knows? And indeed, the encounters are paced around your actions, which differ depending on the items you have, the persons you have in your party, and the approach. Like, you can go gung-ho, you can try to fight, you can try to beg, you can surrender, you can approach cautiously, that kind of thing. And to compound this, there are also, you will come across buildings where you can enter and scavenge for supplies, weapons, items, and danger, because the longer you stay around a place, the higher the danger level goes, especially if you try to enter locked or closed off areas. Like, and as far as I could tell, there's no hunting segment. Also, there's no crafting segment in this game either. Like, you don't have to put things together or cook your food, or it's nothing too complicated in terms of survival mechanics. You do have to manage your inventory, manage your stats. Remembering here, you got your health, you've got your stamina, you've got your morale, and that is affected by either trauma happening to you or you inflicting trauma to other people. So going back to that, humans are bastards thing, you can be the bastards. You can come up upon helpless people and you can rob them fucking blind. And how that affects things is kind of depending on the ideology. Like, there's idealism, there's the idealist, and there's the survivalist. The survivalist is going to be more fine with, robbing other people so that they can survive than the idealist is. Like, now in terms of the graphics, we almost had a theme going on this week with the lo-fi PC-centric pixel art here. But the Man with the Ivory Cane kind of broke that. Since, But, there's another game that's going for that style. I actually do have a motivation here this time. That's because this game was going for minimalism. Not so much in terms of the actual art, because, if you look at the actual landscapes, they're pretty detailed, they're pretty colorful. A bit more than what minimalism would suggest. But they, minimalist graphics to maximize the story. This game is all about narrative and your choices. Uh, as far as how the game plays out, the story itself is, it'll play. The beginning and end are the same. It's that middle part that's going to flow very differently. Um, and granted, that does run into a bit of a problem because, like, the absolute beginning doesn't change, and this game's gonna kick your ass. Not gonna lie. Like when they say survival, they mean it. Much like the Oregon Trail back in the day, like maybe not. It's not as random as oh hey, you got dysentery and you know you got to ford a river. You do get choices, but it's more you go to this area or do you go this area. No, no worried about if you're going to survive that fording the river. You um, but yeah, it's all built around your choices. I don't know how the choice system works. That's the kind of thing that we need an interview for because I'm not sure if this is procedurally generated, if all of this was handcrafted, and my bet would be procedurally generated just on how things play out, and just given that the one of the selling point here is all of the variance, um, and how your choices will have effects on things. Um, but some will be immediate, some will be far-reaching. Admittedly, I think I got about. I'm not sure if it was halfway, partway through the game because once again, very difficult game. Um, like the Oregon Trail, it's just this game doesn't really give you necessarily a difficulty meter. Like one of the neater bits of the Oregon Trail is it gave you well, not an unintentional, but a subtle lesson in classism. Hint, like the banker was easy mode because he could afford all the resources he could carry, as opposed to the farmer who had a much harder time and was more likely to die. And yes, this is how it is in the real world as well. You know. But anyway, none of that here because, well, fucking society's collapsed. Your money is fucking worthless. It's like shit that's prized now is like energy drinks and food and knives and flashlights and shit like that. You know, the stuff that's typically prized in a post-apocalyptic environment. Not saying that's relatable at all at this particular moment in time, but it is understood. Let's see. As far as the music, I'm trying to remember if this even had music. Like, if it did, it was so subdued that, completely out of the mind. As far as dialogue goes, it's all text. And as far as your party goes, you get to select 3 out of 4 characters. Who all have various attributes. There are 2 other characters on the right over there, but you have to unlock them over the course of the game. Can't say that I did that. But still, this game is really proud of its replay value. But like also worth noting as, this game is dark. This game starts out with not necessarily your Messiah character, but a guy named the Professor who gives the, let's say, local populace hope by approaching the light. Like, that's the thing that you're that's your super goal in this game, to get to where the light emanates from. But the thing is, the first thing that he does in this game is he hangs himself. And your first choices are based around what to do with him and his stuff. Do you raid his stuff? Do you read his diary? Do you bury him? Do you leave him up there? That kind of thing. Also, do you go to his house and rifle through his shit there? These are the changes that don't change. Once again, can make playing the beginning of the game repetitious, to say nothing else. But as far as how bleak the game can be, once again, that's kind of dependent on your slant. Like, if you're kind of the person that doesn't have a compunction, or needs to raid other people's goods and beat them up afterwards, versus somebody who's just trying to get by and who's willing to risk their own supply. You can share your own things with other people, and they're not necessarily going to be appreciative of it either. And I don't mean just the people who are at gunpoint. Like, there are people who are half starved and are a bit wild, let's say. And I hate that. I had what I wanted to say and then I lost it. So yeah, there is a. Oh, right. Other things that in this game trigger warnings: violence, brutality, harm and mutilation, self-harm, substance abuse, sexual violence, slavery, racism, and hate speech. So this game is
that's a lot of warnings.
I'm like, it's raw. Yeah. It's like, if you're the kind of person who can't, who has a problem dealing with, rape or, racial epithets.
Epithets.
You know what I
Epitaphs
mean.
is a thing you put on a gravestone.
Right. My point is, this game isn't sugarcoating the fall of civilization. It's like, yeah, once again, one of the core themes here: humans can be bastards. And this game doesn't shy away from it. So, and it's not the immature form of mature either. They're not they're not putting tits and gore into something, in an effort to say we're mature now, even though that this is the shit that appeals to fucking 13-year-olds. Like, this is the real kind of maturity. This is getting into very heavy subjects, very uncomfortable subjects, and dealing with them. And if that's something that you cannot handle, well, you've been warned. Indeed, that's a big reason why I only played this about half an hour at most. It's it's a bleak fucking game. This isn't this isn't the fun apocalypse. This isn't fucking Mad Max shit here. This is no fucking civilization's collapsed and it's a fucking free for all.
Yeah, this is what, 3 months out of a total after a total blackout.
Yeah. All your no electronics work. That's what the blackout means. It's not just the lights are gone. The fucking your fucking cell phone doesn't work. Like, just try asking a modern person to go without their fucking smartphone for a couple of days. They'd probably be fashioning the wooden clubs after 2. Yeah. Anyway, as far as how I enjoyed it as a game, definitely one of the more unique things I've played in recent time. Not the most unique. That's still The Longing. But it's definitely got freshness on its side. It's like, as far as his actual gameplay, well, it's just a bunch of choices. It's basically an extended dialogue tree. In terms of that kind of functionality, It's like that's not the point here. The point is what what you choose, and how that affects things. And I think it succeeds in its goal. And it's also you got to survive, and it succeeds in that goal as well. And this game clocks in at a robust $9.99. No sorts of bundles or DLC to speak of here. Not sure if that's something that's coming down the pipeline, but this game, well, in the blurb on the fucking Steam page, they decry games as a service. So I think this is the complete experience. A very solid recommendation here, provided you can handle some dark subject matter. If you're a bit squeamish, or once again, if you have actual triggering episodes, look elsewhere. There are a shit ton of warnings right here on the Steam page that I read out. So if you've got a problem there, just exercise the discretion. All right then.
I will say one thing. I've found, I guess, a bug right now that completely killed my progress. I can't do anything. I have to start a new file.
Huh.
So something to keep an eye on.
Okay. I'm like, indie games and such.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, that'll about do it for this installment of Fragments of Silicon reviews. And coming up on the week ahead, here we go. Let's see. Coming up on Wednesday, April 1st, we'll be talking to Corey King of Zenfree. And Friday, April 3rd, we'll be talking to Madison Williams of Zweihander. So we got a Friday interview this week. So plan ahead for it. And yeah, until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.